Welcome to Ebonyi State. That is a typical life of the Ebonyi people. A people who have taken to farming as their major occupation.
I decided to go into farming, recognizing the fact that without farming, without our food, Nigeria will be no more. And I'm proud of being a farmer. Ebonyi received the grace of God in the year 2015, having elected Governor Nwezu Mahe, who came and, with his effort and that of IFAD, decided to turn around the plight of farmers in Ebonyi. We had never had it so good.
The agriculture is our own. We have no any other business than agriculture. So agriculture is our handwork. And that's the way we live, even from our forefathers.
Despite the numerous challenges experienced in the course of farming in the rural communities, such as lack of access to finance, farm inputs, mechanization, access roads, market, and a lot more, the Ebonyi State farmers are known for the large production of food such as cassava, yams, potatoes, rice, and more.
Because of the dwindling nature of the oil resources in the country, we are going back to farming, and we are being encouraged by the state government to go back to farming. Thank God for having a farmer-friendly governor in the person of His Excellency Chief Engineer David Nwezu Mahe, the state governor. He's a farmer-friendly governor, has been encouraging us in all spheres of agricultural development, has been making frantic efforts to revolutionize agriculture in the state. In the first place, he organizes workshops, training for farmers to enable them adopt the best agronomic practices in agriculture.
Many people start loving those rice, Amakaniki rice, but some people sometimes they don't know about Amakaniki rice. But as time goes on, many people start to have interest in Amakaniki rice. Many people interested in eating it. We have to carry it to a lot of places, Lagos, but even outside the country, that they love Amakaniki rice because we have good text more than those foreign rice.
Since the inception of the IFAD Federal Government Intervention Program, Value Chain Development Program, VCDP, in Ebonyi State, which is a program modeled to empowering the rural poor, we have beamed our searchlight to see if the stories of the farmers and other stakeholders in Ebonyi State is now different.
What they are doing for Ebonyi people, especially in the area of agricultural development, is very, very nice. So I'm grateful.
All this place has been a dormant area, and we have not known how to plant dry season rice. But because of the introduction of VCDP, Value Chain, they are the one that directed us the way to plant dry season rice. And we have tested it, and we have seen the gain.
And now there is a little change. The present governor has completely made us to plant 3 times rice. We have dry season plantation. Second, we do plant 1, 2 before rain season. Now we are on the rain season plantation. And the whole thing is doing very well.
The revolution has even led to mechanization of agriculture in the state. He has procured so many number of tractors, and he has promised to procure more. And most of all, these tractors that were procured, unlike previous experience, it was managed by the government, which yielded no result. But this time, in his own infinite wisdom, he said that farmers should own these tractors, then use it to work for other farmers who will now pay them. So individuals, we captioned them tractor service providers. They bought these tractors back from the government, and they are now working for farmers in various places in the state with the tractors. These farmers now pay them. So there is no need, this time there is no scarcity of tractors. unlike before.
Lot of improvement there, you would say. But how did it happen?
It's been all success stories to tell about the intervention of IFAD Assisted Value Chain Development Program in Ebonyi State. This program will just run for just about 2 years going. Effectively, we started in 2015, even though the program was declared disbursement effective in 2014. But the effective implementation started in 2015. So 2 years into the program, we can raise our heads very high to say that we have had tremendous success in the implementation of the program. We've touched farmers, we've done infrastructure, we've done technology transfer, we've done capacity building, we've done so many things that have touched the lives of our rural people positively. Yeah, our target groups are the rural poor households that do between 1 to 5 hectares of farm for people who do production. These people are also some of the people who do processing and marketing. So primarily, our target is to touch the rural poor people, improve their means of livelihood, reduce poverty, and increase their income on a sustainable basis. So essentially, this is our target, and this has been the focus of our program implementation over the last 2 years. Going by the life of project targets, we can say that we are almost doing 50% of the life of the program targets. And that is what a target we have for 5 years, we can confidently say that we are almost doing 50% of that. Before now, one of the challenges farmers have is mechanization. Because of that, the program has successfully developed 200 hectares of land at a farm called Agricutural farm, the government-owned facility. But the essence was for us to develop this land and allocate the land to our rural farmers who have challenge of access to land. As I talk to you, the process of allocation and cropping of that land is currently ongoing. That is one. One other target we set for ourselves was also to reach a certain number of farmers, about 10,000 farmers, with inputs. Last year alone, we were able to reach over 6,000 farmers with inputs which we gave to them on matching grants. We gave them improved seedlings, we gave them fertilizer, we gave them agrochemicals. We also assisted them in land preparation, all at 50% cost. The farmers only bear 50%, and the IFAD VCDP bear 50%. Again, this intervention is on matching grant basis. In other words, it's free money that is given to them to assist them through their livelihood. It is not a loan, it's a grant to the farmers. That intervention alone added over 25,000 metric tons of paddy to the rice output of Ebonyi State, which is tremendous. And by our calculation, going by the crop area use survey we did, that will have injected over 4 billion naira into the economy of our state.
Now, haven't found a model of intervention program that works for the farmers. What plans does the Ebonyi State government have to ensure farmers will no longer suffer to produce food and live better lives?
And we have really done well by making sure that we pay our counterpart foreigners when due. That has actually increased the tempo of the operations here in the state. But I must emphasize that their standard is one of the best they can talk about in the world. They have the best practice, and we have always compared notes. Sometimes we use their own practice. It has helped us in the area of mechanization. They are wonderful in the area of primary production. The best practices in rice production and cassava. They have shown that they are good to go, and we have been working very well, even in our various agricultural committees in the state. We have made sure always that IFAD is represented so that we compare notes, so that we exchange ideas. And I must mention that they have really done a lot to help our farmers, which in a nutshell, I will say that they have come to stay in Ebonyi State. Yeah, we are trying to institutionalize the operations of the Ministry of Agriculture in Ebonyi State. That is to say that we are developing the scheme that will help us sustain all that we have done. One is the legislation we're going to make, which we're already fine-tuning. Another is also a policy that is going to be people-oriented, that we take a period of 2020, and that policy is all-embracing. We captured the operations or the modus operandi of the IFAD and other development partners, and that is going to help in sustaining the practices in Ebonyi State.
Bothered about the heaps of rice husk, that is the chaff gotten after rice is milled and processed, littered around the environment. The Ebonyi State's VCDP team has this solution, which turns out a win-win situation.
Some couple of months ago, I was called up and then sent on training. I was trained on first bottom fabrication and on rice value chain, parboiling. So in the process of that, I discovered that rice processing was also possible. And down the value chain, we started looking at possible ways from the rice. We came across the rice husk and then did a few works on briquetting to see whether we can use it as an alternative source of fuel for people to cook and then reduce the carbon footprint of the environment. And that we've really achieved some good success. What we quickly did was put up a press. We mixed the rice husk with a little water, and then at times we use paper mash as a binder. The moment that is done, you add the water, and then we improvised molds. So this is loaded into the mold and then fitted into the press here. This is actually a very low pressure system. And the end product of this action are all this, gotten from rice husk, the back of the rice. When you finish milling the rice, the husk, which people normally throw away, is now compounded back, and you have them as a consumable fuel that can be used for cooking. Replacing the firewood, it doesn't dirty your clothes, you clean it off, it is there.
Indeed, this has confirmed the objective of the IFAD federal government intervention to build the capacity of the farmers through the VCDP to treat farming as business. Wait a minute. With this heap of rice husk, which was hitherto considered useless, being converted to cooking fuel by a member of the Ebonyi State VCDP team, one can only imagine how much more money the farmers will earn. What more can I say? Do agric, it pays. The Ebonyi State VCDP team is working.